Hello, beautiful souls. So, first thing I want to do before anything else is to do um, the draw. We had a winner last time, two actually, and I said that if I don't hear from them by Saturday, and I gave them an extra week, so I am going to do the draw again. I am not including those two people, just because obviously they didn't respond, so they are not interested in the healing session at this time. And healing is hard, and you have to be ready, and you have to be, your higher self have to let you know that it is the right time. So with that in mind, we're going to include Ariel, Joseph. Hello, my name is Ashante, Diana McNeil. Why I never got her name properly. Why Niana, Waniana, Siobat Miller, Daryl, Asia, Tina, Candice, Andy, Diane G, and then the other two I'm gonna leave out. If anybody else, I hope I got everybody, because those are the people that did it before we did the first draw. So before we get to what the point of this conversation is going to be, I don't have an agenda. I just want to talk to you from my heart, based on what I know and what I have discovered over the years about working from the heart space and tapping into your own divinity. So that, I think a lot of people get too much into, let me worship the spirit, let me do this for the spirit. And you will notice that sometimes those people are not taking care of the families, they're not taking care of themselves, but they're doing and purchasing things and going crazy, and they don't see advancement, they don't see real progress. They might be very, very good with knowing what to do for some type of spirits, but they're not very good with everything else. So I want to talk to you about that. But before I do that, just want to do the draw again. The names are here, and just to make sure, I'm going to move it around. And then we're just going to let one come out. Okay, so I think it's good. If I get more than one, I'm going to do it again. Almost one came out, and then it went back in. Thank you. All right, and the winner is Ashante Homans. So I'm going to give you until Friday at 5 p.m. Let it be. So we're going to let it be, because I do also offer, there are some people that sometimes cannot pay the full price, and what we do is some sort of donation base, and I don't do that for everybody. But I think some people that really want the healing and are looking for the healing are going to understand the value that this can bring to them, the healing opportunity and all of that. So I'm not going to push it any further. So that means that I did my part. But if the raffle people that are actually saying, I think I'm ready for the healing, but they're not, that's on you, because you're the one that needs to decide if you want the healing or not. And this is serious work. This is not for everybody. Each session is 5 to 6 hours, potentially longer, depending on what we're dealing with. So not everybody's going to be ready for this healing, and that's why the person really has to be ready, willing and ready to heal and analyze their lives, to go through the beginning of their life to now, in order for them to find the things that they need to work on, patterns and things that they notice. Maybe some of the things that they haven't noticed will come up in the session. So it is a lot of work. And the people that are coming to sessions or doing online sessions, it's because the higher self already lets them know, listen, your life is, you need answers, and this is one of the best way for you to get those answers. So if you're not feeling that push to do that, right, the people that were selected before, that won the tickets before, if they're not feeling that push, it's for a reason too. It's because maybe something else needs to happen before they're ready for a real session, right? Because you cannot fake it. You cannot get the most out of a quantum based healing session by faking it. You have to be willing and ready to surrender, to follow the process, to follow the guidelines. And if you're not ready for that, nothing is going to happen for you. So anyways, I'm just gonna take maybe 20 to 30 minutes to go over the this altar within us, this altar that needs to be nourished. And and I'm saying this because I do see people that are coming desperately wanting to know how to worship different energies, different spirits, not only in 21 divisions, but in many other practices too, especially based, the African based practices. So it is sometimes a little weird for me to give them advice because I am not the type of person that is going to tell you, you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to do it this way. And I start with the beginning, and the beginning is you. And if you're not thinking properly, if you're not thinking straight, if your life is a disaster, if maybe your life is okay, but you're not happy, there are things that need to be worked on for you before you even start working with other outside entities. Meaning, you have to go through your own healing process. And I know people are going to be like, well, I am not here for that. I just want to know the magic. And some people, they just want to know the magic because they really do believe the magic is going to take care of them. They believe that these practices are basically magic, and that the magic is going to result, it's going to solve all their problems, it's going to result in a happy life, without then realizing, once we go into these spiritual practices, it comes with a lot of responsibility. We have to become mature, spiritual mature. We have to become mature as a person. You can go into Osha, you're still going to have to go through a process of reflecting and cleansing yourself. Before you make Santo, you have to go through a full year where you wear specific things and you do specific things, and you don't go out at specific times, and you don't do this and that, because it's a process of purification in this 3D reality. Same thing happens when we go into initiation in 21 divisions. And I know of other practices that also go through similar processes of purification in this 3D reality, where once we go through initiation, that's just the beginning. So the best thing to do before we even get to that point is to realize that, I did that video, and somebody just posted something that was really good, made a comment that was really good, because I was getting ready for this conversation. And I see that there's no coincidences. So when I saw that post, I was actually very happy to see that post, because when I did that video, I felt a little guilty of telling you to be careful with the altar. And I did that for people that are crazy. They see that maybe Ogun gets a machete, and they're gonna go get a machete, and they're gonna put it for Ogun, and they have no idea why they're putting the machete. They are not really doing common sense analyzing or researching or asking the right questions. They get so trapped into the instruments that they need to put in the altar that they don't really put two and two together. And it's really, I don't know how to say everything all at once, but what I'm trying to say is, when we really start working with our inner altar, and what is your really inner altar is your heart space. When you start working on your heart space, so that you can align and release all the traumas within your life body, within the physical body, within this life, within childhood trauma, relationship traumas, patterns that you have noticed, triggers. Maybe your sister is more beautiful than you, or your brother has financial stability, or I don't know, your mother separated, now she's seeing another man, and now that's triggering you. All those things are opportunity for you to heal. And people don't see it like that. They just want to be a beaten. Why is she or he doing this? Why am I doing this again? Why are they attacking me again? Why is this happening to me again? And people are not understanding. All of those situations are reflecting what's going on inside of you. And because it's reflecting what's going on inside of you, it's also giving you opportunities to know what needs to be healed. People don't want to hear this. People, you know what people want? People want to go on Facebook or YouTube and watch controversial videos, or videos about people fighting each other, or do stupid stuff, because they don't want to take the time to reflect. Because when you start reflecting, you're going to feel a lot of discomfort. You're going to feel that you're not at your highest best right now, like you're not performing at the highest best performance that you can have for this life, because you haven't taken the right steps. There is healing that needs to be done, and people don't want to heal. People are lazy with their healing. It's so comfortable to be a victim. It's so comfortable to have everything go wrong, because we don't want to take responsibility for healing. And I went through this too. So I'm not giving you a speech because I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm giving you a speech because I know exactly what I'm talking about. Because for many years, everything was fine. I had the right job, I had the right business, I had the money, I had everything that I wanted. But internally, I wasn't 100% because I wasn't fulfilling my purpose for this life. And I knew it at a deep level, but I was trying to avoid it because what if? What do I have to give up to do that? Everything that I had to give up to do that was a big problem for me, because I didn't want to give it up. And I'm not saying that you have to, I'm not rationalizing that we need to be poor, because trust me, I like good things too. But what I'm saying is, for a long time, I couldn't see how I could have both my spirituality and financial abundance. So I stayed behind the curtains for many years, trying to pretend to be normal. That didn't work out for me in the long run. But what I'm saying is, during that process, I was a victim of my own punishment. And we become so trapped in it that we don't realize that we are in it. So when I started realizing my true potential, and I'm not talking about working with magic, because I think that's just one of the things that we get to do when we really tap into our full potential, and to understanding who we really are. That's why you don't see me putting a lot of videos out there about things that you can find in other YouTube videos, in other with other people, because the internet is full of this stuff. But we need to come back home to ourselves, to our inner heart, and that space is the most important altar that we can give reverence to. Doesn't matter how many spirits you worship, if you don't worship yourself in the right way by healing yourself. I'm talking about real healing here, where you go through many different points in your life to understand why you went through those things. What lessons did I learn when I was going through those things? Why did this happen to me? What was I supposed to learn from this? And what do I get to do now that I don't have to carry this anymore? How those life changes when I don't have to carry this anymore? And then when you do that, little by little, within a year or two, you become a new person. The dark night of the soul is an opportunity for us to also grow spiritually and physically in this 3D dimension. So when we go through the many challenges, we're also getting an opportunity to analyze what we need to heal within ourselves. But once everything is starting to flourish, I see people, they have a beautiful beautiful altar and the life is not in alignment, there are obvious things that need to be aligned for this person to become their highest version of who they're supposed to be in this reality. And I see altars that are just one thing, and those people are peaceful, they're whole. So what is the difference? It's not the external, the physical altar that we have, but the one that is inside of us that determines how much we receive from spirit. You know, like the revelations, the teachings that these energies present to us, whether we are meditating, sleeping, or in a trance, or regular life, just walking by, and you're like, wow, that finally now makes sense because you have gone through a journey that now allows you to understand things in a different way. So when you are so focused on the external altar, those energies, now we got to remember, those energies also are inside of us. All those spirits that we worship are inside of us. They are. If you look at Hercules Freda's, or what some people will call the Aida Weidó court of, or Hercules Freda's court, and there are many different spirits that reside within that court, within that frequency. They all are dealing with specific things for humans, whether it is that energy of the divine feminine, the energy of fertility, even the dark mother archetype and all of that stuff, emotional release and so on, right? So you can see that the spirits are resonating. That's why we call them brothers or sisters, mother, niece, uncle, whatever, godfather, godmother, because they can resonate at a specific frequency, right? And within that frequency, there is a lot of work that they do with each other. So when you're looking at that from the inside of you, you might be having a spirit come forward to give you information about specific different things that are going on with your body. And those things that are coming forward that represent something that is outside of you, for in this case, are also letting you know something that is inside of you that needs to be addressed, or that you need to pay attention, or that you need to learn from. So one of the best ones that I love to always mention is because of the relationship that I have with this spirit. And it's all about strength. And every time that he comes in my dreams or my meditations, there is always something that I'm running away from. And he's trying to teach me to face those things. Took me many years to realize this, by the way. It wasn't in overnight thing. Because even though somebody tells you, it is known to you really go through that realization yourself that you truly understand. Like if you don't believe it, then there is no teaching. You have to believe it and you have to feel it. So when you go through the process of feeling and believing and understanding, integrating, then it's when you actually like, wow, that's exactly what it was trying to teach me. But for many, many years, I couldn't figure it out. So the energies that are outside of us are also inside of us. These energies are giving us specific information about what's happening with us inside. And when we tap in, when we meditate and contemplate and go in, is when we can get the answers for what needs to be healed. For example, I can ask you to simply close your eyes and do a body scan. And with this body scan, you can imagine that you are outdoor in nature and you're in a very relaxed place. And then from one moment to another, your eyes can become like a computer and it can scan you like a scanner. And when it scans you, you're going to be looking for different colors. And within those colors, you're tapping into the emotions. What are those colors telling you? What is the emotion that you're feeling at the moment? What is that For example, if you think of a childhood memory, and let's say it's a neutral memory or not a very good memory, you can and go deep into that memory and pick up what is that memory teaching you. That incident that your higher self chose to tell you, to remind you of, is giving you a specific message. That message has healing potential for you, and that healing potential can be one thing that leads to another, that leads to a big thing. The next thing you know, you're feeling completely different and beautiful and amazing because you have healed something that looks so irrelevant but had so many meanings, because maybe that was the root of something major that became something huge later on. For example, I had a client that when she goes into childhood, she sees herself in the mirror and she doesn't feel beautiful. And this client, her sister was telling her that she wasn't beautiful, that she was not very beautiful. Now, this is a beautiful client. I mean, I'm telling you, a beautiful person, physical, and, like, even her energy is beautiful. But she really believed that she wasn't beautiful because when she goes back to around 5, 6 years old, her sister is telling her that she doesn't look beautiful, that she looks like an alien. So that created this trauma within her where she believed that she wasn't beautiful. And now she's in her 40s and she sees herself as no someone that normally fits in, no someone that is welcome or appreciated or beautiful enough to embody the female energy. So she tries to wear tomboy um, clothes because deep down she doesn't feel beautiful. And we find the root when she was around 5, 6 years old, where her sister is telling her, you don't look beautiful, you're ugly. And she just didn't want her sister to take her clothes, to put her clothes, because she was a little older. So the little sister is trying to imitate the older sister, and the older sister is telling her, you look ugly if you put on my clothes because you don't look normal, you look like an alien. So this little joke or little evil comment results in a trauma for many, many years, resulting in low self-confidence for this person. So I'm inviting you to, we are into occult practices. We love, you guys know that I love anything that is mysterious. And I'm not trying to take you away from that, but I am asking you to be more conscious about your own healing journey, so that by the time you really get to sit with the different energies that are coming forward, your spirit guides that are assigned to you for a specific reason, that you can have deeper conversations instead of just, should I put coffee? Should I do a tobacco? Do I need to put food on my altar? A lot of people don't put food on their altars. I know a lot of, it's very strong, powerful priests and priestesses that they do not put any specific things on the altar. Doesn't make them weak. It just means that they have a different way to serve their energies, right? So when people are obsessed with, how do I serve a misterio? How do I serve a gorisha? How do I serve an ancestor? How do I serve a spirit guide? You really got to look, why are you so obsessed with doing that? And why are you not focusing on your own healing journey? Because the only reason why they're coming forward is because you, as a healer, in order for you to become a healer and be really good at what you do, you got to heal yourself. It's not the other way around. You cannot be healing other people while you're all messed up, because then you don't understand what they're going through. It's not the same level of when somebody comes to you and you know what you're doing. Because number one, I believe that a lot of the people that are most powerful in this type of work are people that have very traumatic experiences. They maybe had to overcome very difficult childhood, difficult life, and now that they get to do this, they become very powerful because they can be very they know how to put themselves in the shoes of the client so that they can heal them, help them by asking the right questions when even the person doesn't know how to give the right information. So these people that have overcome so much can become probably the most powerful healers. I see it, I truly do see it like that, because they have the potential. They already have healed a lot of traumas themselves, and now they're ready to heal others. And it takes so much work to work on our healing, because there is nothing like it. Even if you have support, you don't have someone like you that is exactly like you that can tell you this is why this is happening. You got to find those answers yourself through dreams, meditations, contemplation, reflection. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen when you're trying to ignore the problem. It happens when we're very, very, very conscious about what needs to be healed. Why did it happen? What am I supposed to learn from this? Have I learned the lesson so I can release this challenge so I don't have to repeat it? Because that's why some things repeat themselves, because we haven't learned the lesson fully yet. Like sometimes I will repeat a lesson multiple times as challenge with the same people or different people, same challenge, because I didn't really get the lesson. I didn't really understand where the problem was. And most of the time, the problem is us. So it doesn't matter how much we want to point the finger to somebody else. The problem always tends to be us, because the problem is coming up with different people in different ways, because they're supposed to reflect what's going on in the inside of us. And I have found that to be completely true. I mean, there is no way around it. That's why I can be your mirror and you can be my mirror. And when we exchange energy, there could be a lot of ahas. Oh my goodness, no wonder why. And a lot of people that do the quantum healing sessions, they said part of the best part of the sessions is the interaction, talking and talking about what they haven't talked to anyone ever. I have people that come that they have never told their therapists anything half of what they have told me in a few hours. This is a moment where and you could do this yourself, do your own sessions. In the Awakening the Video program, there are some guided hypnosis to help you do this so that you can do your own sessions. You go through a process of, okay, now I'm going to meditate and I'm going to ask myself, my higher self, to show me what I need to work on, and allow the higher self to show you what you need to work on, and little by little, because it has to be like a spoonful of information. You otherwise it's so much that you will ignore what you need to do. So it's a process. Do not think you're going to get it done in one day. It doesn't work like that. You're going to get the answers, work, integrate, get some time off, and then go again and again until you get all the answers that you need. And we're never done. We're always learning. We're always evolving. So once you're done, don't think that's it, right? There is always more. So that's why I believe that meditation and reflection to work on the heart space, because the heart space is that balance between the higher centers and the lower centers. When we are working from the heart space, we have full balance, alignment, and we can activate things within us. We can activate DNA. You cannot activate DNA just by having the higher centers open. The heart space has to be balanced, because in order for you to use those abilities here, you have to have the balance so that the lower centers can do what they need to do so that you are in full alignment. And that takes time. That is not an overnight process. So when you work on the inner altar, you're working on healing yourself so that you put a notebook, a plan in place. This month, I'm going to work on this. And, once you go through the whole month and you see the notes and the dreams and what you have done, that's going to give you the answers of how far did you go in this process of healing these things that you wanted to work on. But I bet you that people will be spending $100 on candles a month or more. I spend more, so but I have clients. But if you're not doing this, you might be spending $30 a month on candle. You might be running around to the botanica. You might be doing this. You might be reading 3 different books or watching an hour of YouTube every day to learn about the different spirits, but you don't know anything about yourself. You don't know anything about yourself. You don't really understand your life purpose. You don't really understand why you have the challenges. You don't understand your shadows, right? You don't know how to bring them forward or how to release them because you haven't done that work. So, no, it doesn't work like that. You cannot become a powerful healer and ignore the fact that you also need healing. The problem is that most healers, they need someone to help them realize some things because sometimes we're blindsided to our own situations. That's why you need to have a tribe to make sure that, you have those conversations that can bring you aha moments and stuff like that. But if you're on your own, you can still do this on your own. It's just going to take you a little longer, and that's okay. You don't have to compete with no one. This is your journey. But I know people that tell me that they don't have time and they have seen 3 or 4 hours of YouTube in one day, and they have been on Netflix for another 2 or 3, work and sleep. So what did you do? You work, sleep, and watch maybe 4, 5, 6 hours of YouTube and Netflix, but you didn't have time to meditate and contemplate and work on yourself because you were too busy. That that makes no sense to me. If you're not spending, if you're a beginner and you're not spending at least 10 minutes meditating, you're never going to get to the point where you need to go. But if you're advanced and you're not spending 45 minutes to an hour meditating, contemplating, and if you have an altar, you can do that in front of your altar. So that way you can do 2 things at once. Let the spirits tell you what do you need to work on and pay attention. Pay attention to the signs. Got to pay attention, right? So let's say if I see on my altar, I'm going to be asking those things too. I'm not just there. Tell me how to worship you. This is not about them. This is about me. This is my journey. They did their thing and they're there to support us. So if I'm going to go and meditate in front of my altar, I need to ask. And yes, if they tell me to help you with this, give me coffee with sugar. Okay, I'll give you coffee with sugar and let's get to work because I need to get this done. I'm going to get my journey done. And they're there to support me, not the other way around. They don't need me to do anything for them. Part of their process is already, these energies are already ascended. So you can put 10 fishes on the altar and you get nothing because you're not understanding the process. So I just want people to truly understand this is about your journey. The only reason why you're here is because you sign up for this journey. Those spirits that are assigned to you, sign up, they were assigned to you. They may have said, I'm going to be the one to help her with this, or I'm going to help him with that. But what they say is we are assigning ourselves to help with this because this is an area that the person's journey is going to require. For example, if you have a big journey where you have to help a lot of people, you might have a lot of spirit guides that come with a lot of strength and wisdom. Or if your journey is to be a humanitarian, you're going to have a lot of energies that are very much related to anything that is related to love and harmony. And you're not going to have a lot of the energies like what we call the betrons because it's not in alignment with that harmony energy. But if you are a priestess that might need to defend others, you might have everything from harmony to the betrothed energies, right? And everything in between. So depending on your life path and depending on your purpose and the things that you need to work on here, you're going to notice that your spirits are going to be there for different purposes. And you develop a relationship with them by asking them how they can help you, what lessons and teachings they have for you. But if you go to the altar the other way, how do I worship you? And that's it. There is a very big disconnect. You're never going to get the whole story because you're not asking the right questions. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this because they want to be so much into the magic that they forget that this is a 3D reality that we sign up for so that we can get answers and be able to walk the path that we said that we were going to walk. Um, Kashe says, I meditate every day, but I still can't hear the guidance. Well, there is a lot of things that can be happening in regards to hearing, and we all have innate clairs that we come with. If yours is not to hear, you have to work on developing that clair. Doesn't mean that it's not available for you. All the clairs can be available for all of us if we really train ourselves to do so. But if you can see and you can feel, then you have to allow your imagination to hear. It's that simple. So that the more that you trust yourself, the more clear and the more quicker you will get the answers to be able to hear them. This is all about trusting and believing that the energies are there, right? So when you close, the moment you close your eyes, you're in the astral planes. So the moment you close your eyes, you can to be able to control the experience in a way, because you do have to surrender, but at the same time you have to control it by having an intention. Tell me what I need to understand, or tell me why this is happening again, and wait for the answer. Wait for the things, the symbols, the memories, or things, and maybe you remember something that happened 20 years ago or that happened in a dream 2 days ago, and those are going to be clues. Oh, okay, that's, and then you got to put them together, because especially if at the beginning you cannot have a full conversation, you have to get the clues and put them together little by little. It takes time, and that's why it's no everyone can do it, because most people are very lazy when it comes to this. They want answers like this, but they don't want to do the work. That's why they want the spirits to do the work for them, and it doesn't work like that. Depending on your journey, the spirits they might give you information, they might give you help, but they're not going to do everything for you. It's like you want to manifest, but you cannot manifest $1 million and see home watching Netflix all day. It's the same thing, right? So little by little, you got to train yourself to trust in what you hear in that moment. Trusting is a big component of us being able to develop those abilities. So in regards to 21 division, I want to move on to 21 divisions because I want to make this a short video. Somebody asked me a while ago, what is life after 21 divisions initiation? And it is the same with any other practice. There is this transition phase. The initiation is a transition phase from you being just in this 3D reality to being a being that can be in the spiritual reality and physical reality, merging them together as one. That means that you are going to go through a process of training, contemplation and reflection and training. And a lot of that training comes from working directly with the spirits by meditating and dreaming. There is no way around it. I don't think there is a 21 divisions practitioner or voodoo practitioner, or even I mean, other things come to mind, but I don't want to give them as a sample. And the reason why they come to mind is because I have many conversations with other occult priests and priestesses, and it's the same thing. The initiation is you saying, I am going to take this seriously, and I freely decide to do this and take this journey, and I understand the responsibilities, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do so that I can become and get to the next point. The initiation is just the beginning. Then there are other type of next point ceremonies, if you want to call them like that, if you want to continue that way or whatever. But in reality, it is different phases. Just like you go to middle school, you go to high school, then you go to college, then you go to grad school, or you know, doctoral school, like to get your PhD or whatever. Those are different phases. Same thing happens with any practice, even if you're in Palo or Osha or whatever. There are different phases. First, you get your mano, then you go on to get the santos and so on, right? And then each santo is a different ceremony. It's like that. In 21 divisions, there are different ceremonies depending on the level. Normally, in some regions, we only see a couple of ceremonies because it's not as structured as other African-based practices. In some other places, you might see a series of, a handful of ceremony, but the first one, the initiation, the main beginner's initiation, is a transition phase where we agree to comply with the house, whoever you're going to do your ceremonies, initiations with. That house, that societe, it's going to have rules in place. It's going to have guidelines. That's the word that I'm looking for, guidelines. And those guidelines are going to say, this is the way that we work with Anaisa. This is the way that we work with Candelo. This is the way that we do work with Believer Khan. This is the work that we do when we in the ceremony, when the lua comes. This is how we attend to the lua. In another house, might be different. It's going to be very different depending on the region and the societe. So depending on that societe, you're going to have different guidelines that they're going to give you that you have to follow. You're going to have to study within. The studying can be real practice. When they have a mani, when they have a ceremony, you go and you pay attention to what they're doing. They're telling you to pay attention. You're paying attention to the prayers. You're paying attention to the things that they're doing. What happens if a spirit comes that is a dark spirit and they need to send it away? How they send that spirit away? How do you do the different things? Where do you put the water? How do you do the corners and things like that, and things that we wouldn't be talking about on a YouTube video because it's information that is only for those that are initiated, and depending on the society, it's going to be different. So that training normally happens in real life practices where there are ceremonies, there are things that are being done, there are consultations. You might stay with, I don't know, let's say that you find someone in Dominican Republic and you go and stay with them for 6 months or something like that. I don't know. It depends on the person and the situation. Or if you find someone in New York, you go and somehow explain to this person, this is what I want, and to learn faster, you can say, I want to do this, and they might agree or no, depending on the person. Some societies will say you can, if you find a place nearby, you can stay nearby, and then every time we do this, you can come, and every time we have consultations, you can come and do so, and blah, blah. Normally, the people that will do something like this have some type of relationship before where, the person is analyzed, is investigated, the society knows, okay, this we can take that person in and so on. And if you don't have that opportunity, then a lot of the training is going to be probably online, where you're calling the person, or they might be doing videos for, I don't know, whatever the setup you guys try to set up. But the point is that there is real life exercises, real life things that you will observe to learn if you're outside of the culture, especially because if you're part of the culture already, like if you grew up in Dominican Republic, a lot of those things you have a better idea of because you grew up seeing some of these things. But if you're outside of it, especially those that are completely outside of it, are going to require more beginners, step by step help to understand something. So then you have to put a plan in place still, because those people are not going to go after you telling you what you need to do and like taking you by the hand. Like, you have to show that you're the one that you want to do this. They cannot do it for you, right? So you have to be the one to say, okay, like the godparents or whatever you want to call them, Mambo, Hugans, they're going to tell you, I'm going to initiate you. This is the rules. These are the requirements. Maybe you have to come here once a year if they're in Dominican Republic, or if you're New York or New Jersey or Miami, whatever. And then you have to do this and this and that. And then every so often we're going to do this. And, they might assign to you to start working on some things and meditating and so on, right? But the biggest thing is, this is a transition phase. Once you go through that initiation, you're going from becoming who you were before. It's almost like you leave that person behind, and now you know that you're going to do things differently because you have a big responsibility to work with the different entities, the different misterios, the different luases, or the orishas that are part of your team, right? If you're going through the OSHA or something like that. So these entities are going to require certain things from you. There could be entities that say you're not supposed to be with anyone, or you're supposed to give me 1 day for this and la 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 la. And then another person might go through ceremony and they have to comply with several things depending on the energy, the mysterio that works within. So if you're already getting a lot of information on how to do certain things, you might become part of that societe and do, I don't, whether it is cooking or doing baths or doing some of the prayers or whatever it is. So there is always some type of assignment, even if it's indirect. Like, let's say, for example, you have a mambo or a hugan, and they initiate you and they did what they needed to do. Now your job is to make sure that you become a good person, that you pray, that you learn the prayers in whatever language they're giving you, if it's Spanish or Creole or whatever. And then you have to do this, and you have to, one of the assignment might be simple, like, now you have to find out what's in your dreams, ask for this and see if you get it, and then you go to that training to learn how to dream and stuff like that. Now, a lot of the people are not going to do that for you. They're not going to tell you. Once they initiate you and you pay them and they initiate you, a lot of these people are going to leave you alone. It's up to you to continue to go and ask for things, and a lot of those people are going to ask you for money every time you need to do something. So you gotta make sure that you pick the right people, because if every time you need to talk to your godparents, you have to spend money, it becomes a business. So you have to pick the right people that have a good heart, people that are really doing this because they want to teach, and not just because it's a business where every time that you ask a question, you got to send them $50, $75, $100, sometimes a couple of $100. You know what I mean? Like, it's no, it's supposed to be something that is supposed to help you ascend, but at the same time, it has become a business for a lot of people. And you just got to make sure that you pick wisely, because you don't want to be in that situation that every time you have a question, like, I don't know, let's say you had a drink and you're panicking because the drink is crazy, right? And now you got to talk to your hugan. You're going to have to pay a consultation, right? And that consultation can be cheap or it could be very expensive depending on who you pick. Some of them might include it just if it's a quick test, but the problem is with a lot of initiates is that every couple of days they have some major thing going on because they're receiving so much information in the astral plane when they're sleeping. So they're everywhere. And that's why becoming part of the societe might be good, because there might be other people that are in the same boat and you both can bounce things without having to go to the godparent. That's what I'm saying. So when you think of how is life going to change, life is going to change because you have to, if you take this seriously, you're going to have more energies coming. There will be different mysterios coming, maybe the same one. And then once you are, sometimes different energies come at different time depending on what's going with the initiate or the non-initiate, and they will come, do their job, make sure that you're getting the lessons and stuff like that. Once you learn the lesson, or in between, you might see another one come and start coming and reveal themselves to you. So you do have to pay a lot of attention. If you're going to take this seriously, you have to know, you gotta have a notebook and start writing everything that happens. A lot of people are not going to do this because they're lazy. People are very lazy. But you have to have a notebook and document your experiences. Sometimes Anaisa Coronela comes, and I'm talking to my father in a dream, and La Coronela comes and she's asking me for a very specific thing. And she was teaching me something very specific. I never had any experience with La Coronela, but she decided to come. Okay, that's interesting. I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm gonna meditate and figure out like why is she coming and what is she trying to teach me in this way and all of that. And then a couple of days later, Ana Isa La Niña, the child, comes and she's asking me for coffee with sugar. And I'm like, okay, I'll give you some coffee with sugar. And I go into my meditation because I'm not going to do nothing without meditating first. I got to get my meditation to understand why wasn't necessary. Like, because the Anaisa that I work with is very old, very different than those different energies that came. So you got to develop that thing and see, okay, how many Anaisas are coming and for what purpose? Obviously, it's just one energy with different facets. Why? Why am I supposed to learn from that? And la 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 la. And you got to go through that, right? Candelo comes and he's telling you, do this for, and I'm gonna give you this because you've been asking, but you're not doing what you need to do in order for me to help you. Then you gotta pay attention and you gotta meditate. Okay, well, that makes sense because this and that. So you gotta start putting a notebook together, even with no initiation, so that you can understand why these energies are coming, for what purpose, what are you learning, what they want you to understand, what mysteries are they revealing. They give you a lot of secret information that you're not supposed to pass to others. So, and that's why we cannot talk about these things here. Most of those things that are being revealed is only for us. And when we reveal them, we can be basically punished for revealing that information because it's supposed to be for you, right? So when you go into a societe, you're also saying that you want to keep those secrets and that you're not going to be sharing them everywhere. And the way that they receive spirits, dispatch spirits, and do things are secrets. So if you're gonna open your mouth and then you pay the consequences. And the same thing happened with spirit, where if they give you something that is supposed to be for you, but you go and tell everybody, then they don't do that anymore because they cannot trust you. So it's a very trust relationship is important. So what else? So life changes because you have you basically have decided that this aspect of you, this spiritual aspect of you, is crucial, and you understand that they're your dreams are going to get intense, whether you go through initiation or no. I'm saying some people go through initiation and things are going to get a lot because you're going to have a lot of dreams and this and that. But a lot of people don't go through initiation and they experience all of that because they do. So it doesn't matter if you're going through the initiation or not. If you're already receiving the spirits, you have to have the discipline to write things, write the dreams, write the revelation, keep a notebook by your altar. What are they telling you? Why are they telling you things? They're giving you information that is crucial for your development, whether you're going to do magic or no, because magic is just like a bonus, if I can call it that, but it's not the main reason for going into any of these practices. Is for you to develop a connection with your spiritual aspect that you probably haven't understood before. So, and it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. You have to be calm because otherwise you can be creating a lot of entanglement with your energetic field. And that's why a lot of people, instead of seeing progress, they go backwards because they don't get it. They think everything is about magic and they don't understand that they might be calling the wrong spirits for different things. And, it just becomes like a show. So you got to be careful with that. I don't know what else to tell you because your dreams are going to get intense. Maybe you go into meditation, you can go starting going into trance. That's going to get intense. You have to learn how to discern energy because otherwise you could be asking the wrong energies to come forward. What else? You're going to have to learn to become a better person. Now the problem is, and this is some that's why I love what I do, because the problem with a lot of these things, a lot of these different societies, it's not a problem because it's not their responsibility. They're not supposed to fix you. You're That's on you. But what I'm saying is the problem that I see is that a lot of people go into the occult thinking that it's going to solve their problems, and they don't realize they're just adding more responsibility to the messed up person that they are, because most of us are messed up. Even though when we think we're great, we have things that we need to heal, and because they haven't been healed, you go into initiation and you just continue to amplify more responsibility, more challenges, and things can get out of hand. So that's why I focus on the other side where people are going through the healing journey, and it's not about necessarily doing magic, because I believe and I have seen myself that the magic comes from us. Yes, those energies are very powerful, and I know that because I've seen it, I have experienced it myself. But the thing is that you can only amplify that magic when you are in alignment. Otherwise, it can be very chaotic. I hope that makes sense. Like, it's almost like you have a ball that is very tangled, and you're adding more energy, more power to it. You make it tighter. You don't take those knobs away, right? Because the core of it was tangled up. So in order for you to really amplify the energy within that, you have to untangle that. And to untangle that, you have to go to the root of that ball. And when you go to the root, it's when you start peeling layers like an onion, and you see all the different challenges, self-doubt or whatever it is, traumas. A lot of the traumas are from other lives. They're not even from here. A lot of the traumas come from the soul imprints and the fragmentation that has happened over many different lives, including parallel lives. And it gets very complicated. Now, the people that are in the occult that knows when we are doing sigils and doing bebes, and we're asking for astral entities to come, they might not realize what they're doing, but what they know that they're opening portals for entities to come. Where do those entities come from? They come from other places. So if you understand that, you understand that they are parallel realities and other planets where life exists, and those entities can come through these portals, right, to do specific things, because they're somewhere. It's not that they're just in energy form. So when we understand these things, we can totally understand why one trauma may be coming from multiple places, not just this life, but it can get reactivated in this life because it hasn't been dealt with properly. And that's why sometimes in this life we can be able to see it and release it and learn it and integrate it so that it doesn't have to repeat itself. It's magical work. I mean, it really is. There is no other way to put it, but it takes someone to open up their minds to be able and willing to understand, wow, there's more to life than this reality. And once they understand that, then they start understanding the mysteries, lo misterio, lo hace. And then they might be like, oh my God, but there might be more. You might have a lot of light beings coming to mind, to your dreams and things like that, to teach you things. So now you have a whole group of different entities, and all of them are available for your healing. So all you have to do is be willing to heal. But you have to know how to do that. And a lot of people don't have that. So I focus on the other side. That's why I'm not traditional in any means, by any means. My godmother is very traditional, extremely traditional, but I'm not, because I have been able to see things differently, and my journey is completely different. So if you need to go through several ceremonies and stuff like that, I'll recommend you to someone. But I don't believe that things have to be the traditional way, which is why I'm not traditional. So the healing work that I do is different. And when my clients receive the healing and they see that they higher self helps them heal, then they actually understand and they can continue their own healing journey at home by simply meditating, because all the answers are within. And that is my goal, to help you understand all the answers are within. All the answers, in quantum healing sessions, especially for those that are in the Awakening the Healer program, we see people, they tap into La Madama and they get bath, they get ceremonies. People tap with Ursula Freda, with Ambalad, Saint Marta, many different guys. And this is happening because what happens when you go into a trance? Your energy vibration changes and it goes up so that those energies can merge with you, right? And they can mount you. When you go into that trance and you mount in the mysterious, that's what's happening. That's why the sound and the prayers are helping the space and your aura to light up so that you can go up in vibration and those energies can come through you, right? So what happened in quantum healing is the same thing. We go through a process of raising your vibration. And then when you get to the other side, those energies are interacting with you and they're doing healing or telling you secrets or revealing things to you about your life or past lives and so on. And it becomes like a freaking ceremony in the middle of the quantum healing. I have seen that with many, many clients, not just one or two, especially those that are in the occult practices. Those that are more interested to work with the light beings, they tend to experience the light beings. They tend to communicate with many different entities. And some people that are so much into the occult practices that are not interested in the light beings, what happens is when we ask for their cosmic family, then the light beings come and show them the other side. So now they have not only the misterios or the orishas or like Madama, Candelo, and so on, Saint Marta, but then you also have the other energies giving you more information and why this is happening. And it truly becomes like something I haven't experienced before, because it's the more I do this, the more I fall in love with this, because I see how it's a mirror for what we do with 21 divisions and Osha, Ifa. And to see that without having to go through some of the normal things that people do to get to that state where they have to trance and become a caballo and you have to be special. That's why I don't believe that people have to be special, because we all can have access to these energies if we train ourselves or we have someone that can guide us through them. So yes, the light beings. Oh, and somebody asked me about baptism. No, I do not do baptism. That's why I recommend people to other mambos and hugans, because I'm not traditional and I'm not going to do something that, okay, if I'm going to do a ceremony for someone to do a baptism for them, you have to have different things going on. You have to have a group of people. You have to have a house where things are following a certain way, if you want to do it the traditional way. And you have to, normally you do a certain music like palo or something like that, right? So you have to have a whole group to do one ceremony. It's not just one person. It shouldn't be just one person. So you, to do it the traditional way, that's the way that you have to do, right? Now what I'm saying is I'm not traditional, because I'm not traditional in the way that I'm going to baptize you, because I don't believe that that's the only way to work with these things. That's why I stay away from those ceremonies to do it for other people. Because for me, what I have noticed in my journey is that people go to a lot of these practices wanting to be healed, because they think by going to the practice and initiating that they're going to magically receive the money that they want, maybe get rid of an illness, or become someone that is very powerful because they love the spiritual aspects, right? But they haven't healed the core, they haven't healed themselves. So I was very frustrated for a long time, So I didn't want to see people just for reading or when they needed a bath and they were not putting two and two together. People will ask me for a spiritual bath and they wouldn't want to think about why they were having the issues to begin with, why the things were repeating. Did a bath for someone and like 2 weeks later she comes back and I'm like, no, I'm not going to take your money because first of all, you're not thinking, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And if you don't think and you don't reflect, there is no healing. There needs to be some type of contemplation, reflection, understanding. Because if you just take, this is like me putting water on me with all these beautiful magical ingredients that are activated, but the lack of meditation on my part and the lack of understanding is not allowing for those things to do what they need to do. So I get very frustrated with people like that. I really do get very frustrated with people like that because people are not taking responsibility for the action. So they go into OSHA or IFA or 21 divisions or Sunset thinking everything, or even Palo. We see that a lot with Palo. People are going to it, they're running to it because they want something to magically happen, but they don't want to put the time and effort. And that's just how can that happen? It doesn't work like that. You have to put the time and the effort in order to understand why things have been. Everything is a clue. Everything is a clue. So when you go into an understanding why things are happening the way they're happening, why things may be repeating over and over like patterns, right? Then you start healing that issue, whatever it may be. Because the first thing that needs to happen is in understanding why did it happen. Sometimes it's to balance out karma that happens of lives ago. Sometimes it's to for your highest good. This is happening because you needed to understand this because this was part of your purpose for this life so that you can help people that have the same issue. I've seen that a lot with people that come that do sessions that they have alcohol and drug abuse issues. Well, they needed to go through that because now that they're going to become this and that, they're going to get ready for that and they're going to help people that are dealing with the same thing. And now they really know how to help those people because they already were one of those people. And of course, the way the higher self explains it sounds so much better than what I'm saying right now, but you know what I'm trying to tell you. So when you get initiated, that's just step one. That's just step one. You don't think you're ready to go heal no one because you still have to heal yourself. You still have to understand what's going on with you. And that's why a lot of people that are creating a lot of trauma, a lot of challenges for other people that want to get initiated is all about the fact that they're putting their hands on other people, but they are energetically like a knob, like they everything is messed up. And now they're also passing that on to you. Because once you go through initiation and someone that is not capable of really touching you, they can create challenges for you, long term, short term, and everything in between. So you got to be careful who you go to, make sure that they know what they're doing, that they're a good person, that they know what they're doing, and so on. So you have to take responsibility for yourself. I hope that makes sense. When I talk about the light beings, I'm talking about our. We all know that we all come from different places, constellation, galaxies, universes, whatever. We are all here. If you're going through the origin of this planet, you'll know that a lot of these energies, they belong to other planets. So when we call them light beings, is because they're beings of the light, just like the mysterios are beings of the light. We also call the light beings beings of the light, and they have a purpose. They are guarding, making sure that we're doing our purpose here, especially if you have a strong relationship with them. And you might be channeling them, you might be receiving a lot of information from them while you're sleeping and so on. So they have a purpose, and a lot of people notice receive information from the light beings. They might be avians, Lyrians, Arcturians, Pleiadians, whatever it may be. And when they're in the quantum healing session, they come along to give specific information healing. They come to do a lot of healing. They might be releasing things that need to be released from the physical body. So when we call on the higher self, a lot of the times the higher self might refer to to themselves as a light being. People that never thought that they had light beings family, and they're very much into the occult, during the sessions when the higher self comes and we ask questions and a lot of questions, they realize, oh shoot, my real existence come from a different planet in a different place, and these people are here to support me in this journey, and it becomes very beautiful. So my journey has taken me from one thing and another and uniting them together. And that's why my quantum healing sessions with my clients tend to be very different than what most people will experience with another practitioner in terms of the occult and the light beings, because there is this unity between them as a result of me being a 21 division priestess and also doing quantum healing and receiving a lot of information from the Arcturians, and just having them to assist with a lot of the healing that happens in our sessions is very magical. So I think I'm gonna leave it here, guys. If there is anything, any questions or anything like that, you can reach out to me. The person that won the the draw is Ashante. I said we'll give you until Friday to hear from you, and let's see if anybody has any other comments before I click out. So Sonia says, do you initiate when you go through initiation? It is like a baptism, and when you go through these initiations, normally you will have specific settings with specific sound prayers and different people for different purposes, different food and stuff like that. I stay away from those initiations. I Why? Not because I cannot do it, but because, like I said, you to do it and to do it with integrity, you have to do it the traditional way. And to do it the traditional way goes against what I'm trying to do for myself and my clients. So I refer people to other people that have been doing this for many years and can be the best person for you to initiate and go through different ceremonies and baptism. Some of those people can be found online. Obviously, I haven't done any work with them directly because my godmother is in Dominican Republic. She's in the mountains in Dominican Republic, and she's very old. She's 95 now, 95 or 96 now. So she's no longer taking anyone. Otherwise, she will be the right person that I will send you to if you have access to go into the Dominican Republic. There is a woman in the Dominican Republic that is very well known. I respect her a lot because she it's not about the money for her. And there are people in New York, a couple of people in New York that may be really good. So you can email me and I'll send you the link to their stuff so you can take it from there. I believe that with this new earth, we're going to the new earth and we have to respect the ancestral practices, but at the same time, a lot of people are here to create new ones and new understanding and all of that. So I respect both. um, Whoever, whatever you decide to do, whichever way anyone decides to do. I went through some initiations, and there is a lot of beauty and a lot of things that we can learn from them, because it shows us how the old ways, how things were done, right? But at the same time, part of my journey is to help people heal by using their own higher self as the vehicle. So that unity between those two things is different than just simply going through initiation just for the sake of going. I believe anyone that is going to go through initiation has to be very clear that that's what they want to do, because it's a life changing in the way that once you start working with these entities, it's hard to stop, because well, you can be very confused. You can go through a lot of depression if you are being somehow um, receiving information from the wrong entities, or if you're not really in alignment and you don't know how to put boundaries and stuff like that, it can create a lot of different traumas and chaos. So you really do need to know that that's what you want. But it's a beautiful thing, because you tap into the mysteries of the universe and you receive information that is really mind blowing. And when you receive that information, you feel special. You feel like, oh my God, I got so lucky. How do I have these assets? And you wake up sometime feeling like, oh, I know everything. Like I know the meaning of everything, because you receive one little piece that makes sense to you. And I don't know how to explain it. Like sometimes when I have dreams or dreams, because the trance is intentional, like going into the trance intentional, once you get to a point, that you're going to feel the fluid, the energetic fluids and all of that stuff. But when you're dreaming and you're tired and you don't want to deal with anything, and then you have a beautiful dream and you actually go into a trance in the middle of the dream, and everything becomes magic, and you receive information, you may be meeting with different some of these mysterios, and you wake up feeling like, I know, I know, I know. It makes it worth it. But you have to know that that's what you want, because it's not easy. And the journey can be very complicated if you don't have the right support, or the right guidance, or the right process for yourself, the right discipline, because it does take a lot of discipline. Let's see. Yeah, I found a lot of Mambos and Hungans don't have the best intentions. I have a canson like 15 years ago, but I wasn't done correctly. I want to correct the issue. It feels best to go inward. Well, that is honestly, I don't know how else to say it. Even when I was going through my initiations, I was told very clearly, you're going through this because you want to see the physical things that happen, but it's not because I needed it, apparently. And my godmother was a little confused at one point, because she saw how different the different energies were coming in the different times that I was with her. And she's like, I'm getting too old for this. And so it requires a lot of, in order to harness that energy properly, you have to really go in and meditate and do a lot of work. And most of that work happens when you are with yourself alone, when you're home meditating, contemplating, dreaming, reflecting. If you want to go into a trance yourself, you go into a trance yourself. You trust yourself. You might be smoking the tobacco, you're doing it by yourself. There is no way around it. And we got to be comfortable with being by ourselves. We have to be comfortable to go through the journey, and to see how we truly become the ultimate healer, because we can heal ourselves and have the answers within, and we can tap into all those answers by simply learning to meditate and contemplate. And that takes effort. And you have to go through the process of, okay, I'm doubting, okay, now I need to remove these doubts. Where are these doubts coming from? And go deep to get rid of those doubts. And if you're afraid of the different entities, then you have to go through the process of learning how to not be afraid, and how to stand in your power. And that can take years or months. So it is a big job. But no one can take that away from you, because you're not depending on somebody else to have to do a ceremony for you. You're not depending on someone to tell you that, yeah, some things you need to know. Like, I don't know, if you have a dream and you see one thing, and it's not making sense, maybe someone can help you out so it can be quicker. But it doesn't mean that deep down you don't know the answer. Deep down you should be able to pick up the answers yourself. A lot of, in these 21 divisions, we don't have books like in Osha and Ifa. So it is an individual journey. And that's why we have to have a notebook for ourselves, and record things and make sure that we're taking our journey like we're studying, like we're investigating ourselves, and like, my goodness, look how far I have come over the years, and take the time to do that, because the little by little you really become someone new. But it's on you, it's not on anybody else. Nobody else can do that for you. No one else can dream for you, no one can meditate for you, no one can contemplate for you. They can give you answers. Those answers might not be the right answers for you, depending on your spirits and how they want to work with you. So I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.